Good morning, USA. What up, man?
What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody?
Buenos dias, America.
Oscar, introduce our guest, bro.
All right, guys. So today we have Edmy, and Edmy, tell us a little bit about. Should we go into that now, or
Yeah,
wanna
yeah,
chop
go
it up?
ahead.
Ay, 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 así.
Yeah.
From the get-go. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor to be here. So, my driver's license says I am Edmy Salazar. My birth certificate that I was born in Bolivia, and my experience is in real estate. And I got here in this country many years ago. I never actually took the decision to come. I came to high school, and then I went back home for university, came back here. So I've been back and forth. And this January 7th is the first time I actually moved to the USA mentally.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
Congratulations.
So you're here permanently?
Yes, I decided to move here and expand and, finally set some grounds in the US because it's so difficult to do anything when you're in limbo, so. And I've been through the biggest crashes in real estate in the 2008 that really taught me a lot. And my purpose is really to be able to bring some light to the real estate industry when it comes to purchasing homes. I think there's just so much that we can do to get better information to our consumers.
We agree.
Yes.
So I got a question for you. You said something about this is the first time that you're physically, like,
Mentally.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
So, the first time I came on vacation and I went to my high school and I fell in love with it. I was like, yeah, I'm in the US, and everything was like the movies. So I didn't want to go back home. But then my mother came. We didn't know how to enroll into university. I didn't know anything about green cards, And it was 1994, and my mom goes, hey, you're doing so good at school. Why don't you go to Bolivia? Because I didn't want to go to university. And Latinos is non-negotiable to go to university. So she sends me to Bolivia. It's 1994. Bolivia's going to the World Cup for the first time ever.
It was here too.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was in the U.S.
yeah,
Yes,
I remember.
yes. So I get to Bolivia. I'm like, Mom, when am I coming back to the U.S.? You're not. I'm like, what do you mean? So you're not, and you can't try to leave the country because your passport is gonna be like, I was below 21. So then I had to stay in my country for 4 years to go to university. I hated her for that, And then I graduated from university. I didn't even go to my graduation. I majored in marketing and finance and came back in 2000. And again, I stayed, but it wasn't like I made a decision. It was more of a rebel in me. Yes.
Got it.
And then, that was 2000. And then I went back. And 4 years over there, 4 years over here. I've been super blessed. And then COVID happened. I was in Bolivia again. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I just want to settle for the first time. So now I'm here.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
Oh my God, I never told this story ever.
Yeah.
It makes it. It's so interesting that you say you can't get it. I forgot the word you said, but when you're going back and forth,
Limbo?
You
Yeah.
can't really sink your claws into it if you're
Yeah.
always doing this. And
Yes,
I get that on a
yes.
deeper level.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I think it's so important that we get our, even if you're physically here,
Yeah.
but you're mentally not here,
Yeah.
then you're nowhere. And I thought about it like a tree, You cannot build anything bigger. So every business I had, it was always, I'm going to do this for 4 years, okay? Because in 4 years, I'm going to Bolivia. I was always honest about it.
So you had a timeline every time.
Every time.
So you didn't allow it to compound over time.
No.
To see where it could go.
No.
That
I just
happens
really
to a lot
love
of
my
people.
country a lot.
So when
That's
did
good.
your road to entrepreneurship start? Were you always an entrepreneur? Or
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, my family owned hotel. My grandmother owned hotel in Totora, which is a small city from Bolivia. And I was the one playing al mercado, to the market.
Yeah.
So it's always selling, ever. And my entire family are entrepreneurs. My family actually owns the oldest Bolivian restaurant in the country. We've been there for 32 years. I used to waitress there. So all I saw is my mother hustling, and it's so weird because she expected me to go to university, but they never wanted me to get into entrepreneurship. And
Because
now,
of the struggles they've gone through.
You know,
yes.
yeah, it's probably because of hardships they had.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought about that one time where I'm like, damn, yo, I struggle so much in entrepreneurship that I just want my kids to go to the university and
Really?
just, you know, this is at one point I'm like,
Okay,
yo, I
okay.
want my kids to just go to university and get a good government job so they can live peacefully.
Yeah.
That's how I used to think, you know. So that's probably what your parents used to
Yeah,
think too.
yeah. And before that, I wanted to be a dancer. You know, that was my thing. My mom didn't really approve of me. I wanted to be J-Lo. You know,
Girl, you and I are like soul sisters. Hilarious.
I used to go at high school, so I will be in the cheerleader team and the drill team. I used to go to New York to practice. You know, so she overheard me always. You know, I'm not gonna be at university. I want to be a star.
She's
And
like,
I didn't know how
"And
to
to that."
sing. Yeah, I didn't know how to sing, so I thought dancing was always gonna be my thing. But then as I grew up, dancers don't really make a lot of money. I'm like, no. And now I can see it. You know, the first time I went to a Tony Robbins event, I was like, that's me. Yes. I want to be that Latina teaching something to my community. So that's, you know, that's my star.
Good. That's
Yeah.
good that you have a clear picture.
Yeah.
So how did you end up at a Tony Robbins event?
Oh my gosh, so funny. Actually, total integrity, right? Oh my goodness. I was going through a dark period of my time. Actually, I was I was about to crash my car with my girls. You know, those times in your life that I can talk about it now because I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I was like about to go. My girls were sleeping, and I parked my car because my idea was we used to race cars when Fast and the Furious came out. Started getting into cars a lot. I used to go to like quarter mile races, the whole thing. And the video just of Tony Robbins came out talking about suicide, and I parked my car and I listened to the whole thing, and I went to a post a friend of mine posted on Facebook about the suicide line, and I never think I needed it. And I called the suicide line, and it was a Puerto Rican guy, and he became my friend, and he helped me bring the light.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the way
wonderful.
God's work is like, hold on.
Ah. So yeah, and then I started researching about Tony Robbins, and when he was coming into town, it was very Vanderchak. It was him. It was Mr. Wonderful. It was a real estate event that he was coming for. I went over there, and he said that something that changed my life. He said, 5 years from now, if you as a real estate agent don't add value to your practice, you're going to be out of business. And to me, that was everything. I needed to add a different value to my practice, and I didn't know what it was. And, it is protection. So now protection is that added value. So life insurance, annuities, all that good stuff that agents
People don't
have
know
no idea.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a full-time real estate agent?
Yes, since 2005.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been through the nitty-gritty in 2008 and all
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was, I think that's everything where it starts. So in fact, when I had just got in the year 2000, I got hired by a real estate agent. Okay. I was her assistant, but she wasn't, she didn't tell me to get licensed, and I thought there was a little money made in there. So in 2000, I started in real estate. And then I went to the hospitality industry. I started as a waitress, and I turned down a job at the Ritz, right, for a food and beverage director. Now, to get into the Ritz, it's like huge to get an offer at that hotel. But then I thought, it doesn't matter how many hours I work, I'm never going to make more money. So it was this company, they were hiring a real estate agent in 2005, and she trained me so well. 2008 comes, everybody disappeared. Loan officers, realtors, and I was the only one out there looking for business. So I became the first short sale specialist. I started doing short sales,
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. You find the market.
But then I negotiated, my team and I, over 2,000 short sales. So I sit down with over 2,000 families doing their finances. And also I help them, with their money. But then I also saw the consequences. I saw the domestic violence, the especially in the Latino communities. Oh, I didn't want you to buy the house. You forced me to. Either the man or the woman. Nobody was taking the responsibility. A lot of suicide, and it was just crazy, crazy. And I used to get out of these houses like crying, like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? And then that wave went and go, and now it's the foreclosure wave. So we used to be part of a team. We used to sell one house a day, and now my job was to kick people out of the houses because the banks are giving us money to get these people out. So I will go the night before and I say, listen, the sheriff is gonna come tomorrow. Pack everything you can. Just you're not gonna stay here another day. And I used to give them money. I used to get them like moving trucks because you go to these houses, abandoned houses, pictures, toys, everything. And I used to I used to say, if there's something in my life that I could do to protect all of this, let me do it. So it's all these heartaches that I've saw. That's what's been building my purpose now, today. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So
I
you've
didn't know
been
that.
through a lot in the real estate game.
Not only that, because everybody was losing money also. I was investing a lot of money. I owned 14 properties at that time. I was with the wrong partners. I did a course in finance that we had to calculate how much money I lost. And it was $3.2 million that I lost. Money that I made.
But that was not liquid money. It was like property values.
80% was liquid.
Damn.
80% was liquid and the rest was property. And the thing is and that's why I love what we do now because of this, I have my own company that is called Pasitos Financieros that I talk so much about. It's the five steps, and I do it with dance. So you come to my courses, you're going to get some salsa and some finance.
That's fun. That sounds like my kind
Right?
of dance.
Oh, I get it now. That's why it's Pasitos.
It's Pasitos
right?
Financieros, right? So
That's
it's like
so clever. I love that.
because I think they're so boring. Finances are so
You're
boring
so right.
already.
It is boring.
But then when you add some value to it, you add some fiesta to it, so
Add some Edmy to it.
So it's like step number one is like you make money, then you save it, you invest it, you protect it, and you transfer it. We all know how to make money. We are terrible savers, bad investors, and we don't know nothing about protection and nothing about transferring. So the goal is to really to be that Latina, like the Oprah of finance, Latina, to be able to empower. I hate that word empower, to give them solutions.
Why? Oh.
Because, I think empower became like la teoría, the theory, and then Shakira comes with the factura. I want to be the one facturando, no empoderando.
Yeah, I get it.
So, it's through seeing those things, I think. And I could honestly, I was just talking today. I retired. I haven't really been working much since COVID. During COVID, I was selling real estate from my country because I got stuck in Bolivia, and I saw my business crumble again because I couldn't come back here. And that's when I said, you know what? I need to do something. I was praying a lot. I was fasting a lot. And now I'm around you guys through the same company. So it's just like, it's such a blessing. And I'm really grateful and happy to share this because I haven't really been able to talk about this.
Would you say that like the real estate game is like a fast life?
Oh my gosh, it's such a fast life, such a fake life. It's such a, the real estate game it's a lot of manipulation, It's when you make so much money so fast and they don't teach you, like brokers, they don't prepare you for retirement. They see me, I made so much money for all these people and nobody thought about me 20 years ago. Hey, you're going to get old one day. Why don't you put your money into an IUL? Why don't you put your money into a whole life insurance? What's your retirement plan? Build your pension. All this information is not real. The thing is, nobody's telling us.
Yeah.
Or they didn't know about it because they're just focused on sales.
No. Broker owners, these blanquitos, they know this. It's not on their best interest to tell us, especially Latinos, right? Because I refuse to believe these people are running these multi-million-dollar brokerage and mega teams without knowing what's a life insurance.
Yeah.
And not offering to their agents.
It kind of reminds me of the car business because when I was in the car business, they would, just tell us sell. Keep selling cars.
Exactly.
You know, oh, go buy this, go buy that. They encourage you to use your money, waste your money, because then it's just a vicious cycle.
That you need more money.
Yes, so you
Yeah.
got to be hungry, stay hungry.
You
Yeah.
stay employed.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like for real estate, the brokers would probably be like, "Yo, I want her to be living the fast life because I want her to sell."
Exactly. And you know, and back then, it was a lavish life. We used to get bonuses, we used to get trips, we used to get all these things, and there was a lot of darkness that came through it. You know, like you know, you were a realtor, a loan office back then. People were getting, if you were breeding, you get a loan and you get like all this $20,000, $30,000 commission, like you making like $100,000 a month. You don't know what to do with the money.
Girl, I worked for Fannie Mae after around 2010 when we were, you know, Fannie
Yeah,
Mae is
yeah.
an investor of all the properties that,
Yeah.
you know, the country owns pretty much. And there were so many people who truly could not afford what their loan officer clearly lied about them being able to afford.
Yes.
And they're struggling. They're going through all these hardships and all these things because they weren't really ready for that. So,
But here's the worst thing about this, right? For me. So during COVID, so in Bolivia, in a lot of countries in South America, when you buy a house, the bank forces you to buy a life insurance where the beneficiary is the bank. So when you pass away, the bank gets the money and the family inherits a house debt free.
No, that's
like gap
that's
insurance, kind of.
Like you have to get the life insurance. No
They
matter
don't
what.
even tell you that you're getting. They make you sign the paper and it's there
Oh,
by law.
Why don't they do that here?
Because thank you.
Well, they do. They have the mortgage insurance, but that protects the lender.
Yeah.
That protects the bank.
Yeah.
Not the client.
Not the client.
So if they lose their, what happens if, let's say for example, there's a family of, you know, a family, and the breadwinner passes away.
They inherit the debt.
Okay, here, right? And they have
Yeah.
a house, and then they pass away, and the mom, she cannot have 3 jobs or 4 jobs to pay for the house, and they lose the house. So what happens? Who what is that insurance? What is that?
It doesn't cover, it covers the bank. So the bank is going to collect the money from the insurance and they're going to take you into foreclosure and they're going to make the money twice.
I was going to say.
Plus all the money that you already paid.
So hold up. So you're saying is they're going to get paid from the insurance company.
Uh-huh.
They still take the money.
Yes.
I mean, they still take the house and they're going to resell the house.
Yeah.
And the family what?
It's forgotten. It's homeless.
Because the family never paid off the home because the home never actually belonged to them because it was a loan.
I understand, but I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's how
Because
terrible it is.
a lot of my clients said, "Oh, I don't need life insurance. I have it when I bought my house. I bought it." I'm like,
No.
that doesn't protect you.
But this is the thing that really struck me, right? Because when I was in Bolivia, so a client of mine calls me and says, I have to sell my house because my wife passed. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have life insurance? And I was already licensed. I got my license because I was being
Life insurance license?
Yes,
Oh.
but I didn't get it for the business. I got it because I was being sold the wrong policies, and I got sick of it, and I got my license so I can buy a good policy. I never thought I was going to use it in my business. It was never the idea, you know. It was for myself. So, and then I started doing more research, and then more people were dying. So the next wave, here's an exclusive, the next wave that is coming, everybody's talking about don't buy real estate right now, buy it in November and December, are all these houses from all the million people that passed away with no wills, no life insurance, that the houses are in probate. And those houses are being sold in the dark market, in the court, and people don't even know it. And this information, they don't let us know. And even if they do, even if you know this information today, if you're going to do nothing, you're just an informed person. You need to contact you guys, us, because then we can get you prepared. That's the whole idea. You know, you don't want to, I just see, you know, in the Latino, like, yeah, we're the highest minority. We're the biggest one. Yeah, what about we become the wealthiest one also?
We're probably
Amen.
the highest spenders
mic.
too.
And the highest spend, yes, we spend so much money, you know. Oh, yeah, la quinceañera, $30,000. Put that $30,000 into NIUL.
Oh my! I gotta,
Someone said that to me the other day.
Yo,
I posted something, and somebody mentioned that to me.
I think I told you about, like, all right, so I have a family member. They don't watch this. So I don't care. Bro, they have kids in another country. They barely have money here, and because I know people, and their credit's not that good, and they're like, I know you know the guy that gives out loans. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I know him, but what do you need the loan for? Man, my kid is about to, turn 15, and we want to do the quince in El Salvador and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, bro, first of all, you go to this loan shark, you're getting taxed like 30% off break. You know what I'm saying? And then I just go in on how you don't even have money to pay a loan here. What are you going to do to pay a stupid party? I would do it if somebody died. Yeah. Or it's like, yo, I need $2,000-$3,000 to,
start a business.
Start a business.
Yeah.
But you want to get a loan for a damn party. Come on, dude. Like, what la mente?
To feed other people.
It's the same thing, right? Like, when people invest in real estate, they buy, la cuñada. They just to compete. It's a competition. It's not true. How can she buy a house before me? It doesn't work that way, right? But to kind of close up on this is the problem, okay? You need to have a license for everything you speak about in a real estate transaction, okay? I have the 3 licenses. My loan officer license is not active. I also got it because I was like, how is this? I'm just a person that like to research things. I don't like to just say. I like to make sure whatever I'm saying, it has some facts. So the way loan officers get paid, the way realtors get paid, the way anybody gets paid on commission, if you don't close the deal, you don't make money. Okay, but then the industry overall is failing us. Real estate agents right now, honestly, we are going to be so extinct if you don't add value to your practice, because you can literally buy a house right now without a realtor through Zillow. In Arizona,
really, you only need an attorney to buy a house.
Exactly.
That's all you really need.
So who needs a realtor? The people who are bilinguals. So, don't let your kids speak Spanish. Like, there's just so many things we're losing in this process. But the protection is the most important thing. So my wildest dream, like my wildest purpose, like, I want to change the law. That's how big this needs to happen. And I cannot do it by myself. It is not fair.
You say you want to change the law?
I want to change the law.
Okay.
I want to be like the movement. Like I was saying, la revolución financiera más grande, like the biggest revolution. I was talking about Rosa Parks today. It is possible, because this is the thing. It is not fair that at a table, the title gets insured. In case a ghost shows up and says you own the title. I haven't seen any ghosts showing up for the title, okay? And that title is not even negotiable. You don't put 20% down, the bank has to get insured. And then you get insurance for the house, hazard insurance. Everybody gets insured. That homeowner who just signed these papers walks out of the title company, gets hit by a bus. He's leaving that house, that family probably broke, because he probably used the last cent to go to that closing, because, you don't pay mortgage for 1 month. No, you are paying in your closing cost. And they're going to give the next 4 checks. And the banks don't care. And that is not fair. It is not fair, because the title insurance should be being sold by realtors or loan officers or title companies. It should be mandatory that we protect our people. Why is it in the car business? Do you drive a car without insurance?
Nope. You cannot leave the lot.
The government is in cahoots with the insurance companies to force
I don't
you
know
to.
that. Oh, in the car industry.
No, the way the government established insurance for vehicles,
Okay.
they made it a law. So what you're
Gotcha.
saying is you want to make it a law.
Yes.
But you have a better
It's not
reason.
a law. It's not a law.
In most states it is. Like in Virginia, you don't have to have insurance, but you have to pay a
But the
certain
problem
amount.
is that if the client leaves and they don't have insurance, the dealer's liable for that.
But they don't let you drive a car without
No,
insurance. And
that's
nobody
why.
will
Because they're liable for it.
Yeah, and even the phone. Don't we have phone insurance?
iPad, computers, everything has insurance.
Even when you travel, get traveler's insurance. Then you don't even read the fine, but you just buy it.
Yup.
And they're like, you're not qualified for this, right?
Yo, I just thought about something. It's crazy how some people would pay for gap insurance but not life insurance.
Yes. Yes.
It's crazy.
That is so crazy. Oh, my goodness. So, I mean, I think And this is the problem. Insurance needs to become that sexy conversation.
I think
Right.
also, well, leading up to that, right? They don't know what they need. They force you to get all these other insurances, your phone insurance, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people just don't know. So it's good that more
Yeah.
of this is coming out.
And they don't know also, for instance, like, it's nothing wrong with the quinceañeras. Don't hate us for that, or any party that you want to have.
Yeah.
You know, it's just where is
Priorities.
where is the, plus also, people think that only the banks is the safe place to save your money. You can no longer say the bank is safe.
No.
After what happened last week, we can no longer say. So there are other accounts, like, you know, the whole life insurance, the IULs, that they are very instruments. You know, I don't even know why we can call it banks, but they are banks, right? You can open an account. You need to have you don't need to be legal. You can open with a tax ID. I always say this, okay. So if you buy real estate, just real estate without insurance, if you get sick, your real estate is not going to take care of you. It's not going to pay for a nurse. It's not liquid money. And it is in the variable market. People think it's the safest investment, and it's not.
No, it's not.
And then, but here we are. We're getting paid. Oh, buy your dream house. How about, you know how when you sell the medications, they're like, oh, this pill is going to give you this.
Yeah.
And the, ¿cómo se dice en English?
Side effects.
The side effects, right? Oh, yeah, you buy this house without insurance. If you pass away, hey, they're going to inherit the... You don't think people will buy life insurance? They will buy it, right?
Yeah, that's why knowledge is power.
Exactly. So now it's our job to make sure we help people, right?
I think it's great, the brand you're making for yourself.
Thank you.
The
I like
Oprah of finance, you know?
Yes.
I like how you just have a
Or
bigger
Christina.
picture.
Isn't it
You know,
crazy?
a bigger picture than just
Yeah.
like selling a policy or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
selling
yeah.
a house. Like you see this big picture as you're trying to change the law
Yeah.
to protect people.
Yes.
You know?
So, you know, my father passed when he was when I was super young, and my father he used to teach to the rural kids. So I actually speak Quechua, which is the dialect of my country. And before he passed, you know, we were like looking at the stars and then the mountains, and he said, in life you have to do these 4 things. First he goes, I said, I say, you know, what are the stars? You know, every kid asks that, and he goes, the stars are the reflection of the humans in Earth. I was like, wow. And I said, what do you need to be the brightest star? And he goes, this is what you need to do. You need to write a book. You need to have babies. You need to plant a tree. And you need to help as many people as the stars. And you'll be
love
the
that.
brightest star.
What a good dad.
Right? And then,
Yeah.
you know, then he passed. But that stuck with me for life. And then he said to me, and then to do this, you just have to follow 3 rules. Don't lie, don't steal, and don't be lazy. You know? So that was it for me. You know? So that's why I might not be the most beautiful girl in the world or the tallest or whatever. Man, you will not outwork me. Like, that's one thing. Like, you will not outwork me. So that's the thing for me. And I've always tried to find a way how to do that. But then, and you know, after you hear Tony Robbins, he goes, you know, you just have to find a way to help millions to make millions. Boom. That. Millions need this.
Yeah.
You know? So that's so. Thank you so much for letting me share this. I'm like,
Yeah, ay, qué linda. I love it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's awesome that you that you think of it that way. You know, it's not just because I always say this: the car business and in real estate, it's the same thing. Real estate is just a bigger scale.
oh yeah.
But when it comes to it, most people in real estate, all they care is about making money. In the car business, they don't care about anything else. They just want to make money. That's why I got out of the car business. And I was going to go into real estate because I was like, man, I'm done. Like, I'm done with the car business. But then I realized, I was like, real estate is just the car business on steroids.
Well, so the people who are still in business, this is the thing. If you're gonna come into the business, into the real estate business to make money, you're gonna fail, okay? Because that's the problem. They make it so sexy, so easy, and now you have $1 million listing. You have like all of these
Selling
things,
sunset.
selling like it takes so much work to get there, right? But when you really care, and there are some amazing agents out there that truly care, that we really enjoy making a dream come true, like being a part of people's history, and I love that,
Yeah.
right? To me, this is the next scale where now I can take care of their kids and everything. Now, you don't have to choose one or another. It doesn't matter what type of business you have.
It's value.
It's value, and this
Yeah.
protection thing is the best. When you think about kids, right? There's so many people that they always say, right? It's cheaper to buy a condom than paying child support, right? So it's cheaper to buy life insurance than paying a funeral yourself,
Yep.
right? So it's just, and we are so against protection because
Yep.
as Latinos we are careless. Do you want to wear a helmet when you're like doing a bike?
I used to skate with no helmet.
Exactly, because we don't care about protection.
Yeah.
But then our culture here, los blanquitos, helmets, toda la gozadera,
pads,
they plan for kids, they plan for everything. So
Yep.
one thing that I have from going back and forth from both countries is I got the best of both worlds, So that's the beauty about it. We have to learn from each other, right?
Yep.
They need to learn how to party a little bit more. They need to learn to give us better foods in their events.
Wow.
Because it's true.
The list can go on.
and then we need to learn how to be more on time. We
Yep.
need to learn to plan. So
But isn't this the best time right now in the whole world right now mainly in the United States, how Hispanics, blacks, whites, everybody's just integrating.
Yep.
So it's like there's going to be this new era.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Colorless.
I think-
Not necessarily colorless, but like what you said, like, we can take some of their knowledge.
Yeah.
I
They
think
can
it's
take
going
some of our
to turn
food.
into little communities. Just like when we went to the march for mandates, all kinds of people were there because it's the same kind of mindset. So the same mindsets will find each other,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
villages, but of
Yeah.
mindset.
And I think now more than ever, honestly, with Bitcoin, what happened with Bitcoin, I think it was an amazing revolution with NFTs and everything. What happened with all these stocks and everything? We are the power. If we decide, honestly, we decide not to do something,
Yep.
We are the marketplace.
we are.
We are.
Honestly, we learn better about finances, then we can have our own companies. Remember when we went to that event when Master P was talking?
Yeah.
He's getting into the cereal business.
Yep.
Just
He's
little things
smart.
like that. Now, imagine everybody that owns a Latino franchise, they're not Latinos. They're not Latinos. So where are we? Spending all this money, drinking all this money, crying it out, and then doing nothing.
Yeah.
So not all of us. So
The
please.
future generations are figuring it out.
Yeah.
Hey, I was that person, till I
Sh-
decided.
I
to
was
be
that
different.
person.
Yeah.
I don't think I can say that, but hey, I'm joking. No, I think at one point all of us. I think the beauty is I get to see you guys and I get to meet you and I love to hear your stories and your past. We hear this so much doesn't really define you, right? But when you think about it, it's really a fantasy. Everything, your future is a fantasy.
Yep.
The past is a fantasy. You really have the power to decide what's going to affect you, what not affect you. You really do. And the only thing that does that is joy. That's not from me, it's from the Sanduru. You guys know what the Sanduru?
Yeah.
Right? Who's the Sanduru? Can you
I mean,
explain?
I know who he is, but
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that.
He has these philosophical things that I love, and he told me that. I'm like, and that got me better. Even with the bullying, with everything, because it's not easy. Trust me, I get a lot of hatred from my community, from my realtors, from loan officers, because I'm like, no,
Why? Why do you get a lot of hate from them?
because I've been in this journey, since I find out, and I'm like, can you just let them know that, just send them to me so I can protect them. Oh, Mimi or Edmy, that's whatever they call me. Just worry about the house. Just get your commission. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm not.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. Not everyone
Yeah.
in real estate is like that. But I have a friend of mine, same thing. I try to bring her to the business and all that. And I was like, okay, fine. You don't want to do it, great. But if you sit with somebody, can I talk to them so I can we can protect them
Exactly.
and bring value to them? Oh, how am I gonna say that? I'm like, bro, you're cool with selling them a house, why not protect that house?
And you know how much value. So I always did. So, and then I'm the one that's saying, you can fire your realtor anytime.
Yep.
Yes, you can. You can fire your loan officer every time. It is not true. You can go to 30 loan officers in 30 days. Your credit will not get low. It's not true. It will get low if you go to the jewelry store and you get a credit run. If you go to the car dealership, but if you're just shopping around for mortgages, so there's just so much things like, oh, you cannot go there because no,
The
that's not
underwriter's
true.
gonna say, obviously, the reason why it's like this is because they've
They've
doing
been
it
shopping,
exactly.
right? So me, for instance, if you wanna you say you want to buy a house, I'll get my 2 loan officers and I say, okay, here's my client, give him the best. Fight for it, and they know they're shopping around, and I push my clients to shop around. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
You buy a shoe, do you just buy the first shoe? No, you try it on. So
You go to Amazon, you go to Foot Locker, you go to
It's true.
Nike
It's
store.
true. When
True.
you know you have a good thing, you encourage them to go. Please go get another estimate. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that the thing is, being a real estate agent is really expensive. That's one thing a lot of agents are paying to be in the industry. You have to pay fees to the association. You have to pay fees to brokers. You have to pay so many fees. And I understand I was there, but I didn't know anything then. Now I know better. Like literally, this whole situation ruined my business, my income, because I just couldn't go careless. So I have a piece of paper with my clients. I said, so I Oscar Ayala relieved Edmy Salazar from any responsibility. She had talked to me about life insurance, and I understand if I die, my family is gonna get a debt. And at my funeral, she's bringing me flowers and not a check with a lot of zeros.
See, that is very smart.
Right? But then I got in trouble with my other broker. I'm like, well, no. Would you sign that paper?
No,
Or would you buy life insurance?
I'll buy it.
Exactly. Because we are the doctors. Do you go and tell your doctor what to prescribe you? No. People, they so disrespectful. They trying to tell me how to do my job. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying.
It's like going to the doctor. The doctor knows I'm resistant to penicillin. And I'm like whining. He's going to give it to me. He's responsible.
So your brokers are against you doing that?
Some of them are. Because, you can't talk about that. You have to talk to the CEO.
Those are scared mindset people.
And I'm like, but watch this. Mark on my words. 5 years from now, you know how everybody was becoming a real estate agent back in the day?
Yeah.
Everybody was getting that license.
Yep.
It's going to take another 5 years, but 5%, everybody's going to get this license.
Yep.
And right now, the people who are getting it now, who are joining us now, we are in the best position ever. Because you have over 1 million licensed agents and only 600 houses for sale.
Yep.
So you're competing over 13 agents per house. And now a lot of buyers, give me half of your commission. That's illegal. If you ask a realtor for his commission and he's giving it to you, what makes you think he's going to protect your negotiation? You need to run away from that
It must be
person.
Guatemalan.
No, I mean, honestly, guys, I always just, my accounts were hacked before COVID because this was me. This is the first time I'm doing this in English again because my entire content was always in English and people didn't like it. So now I'm doing it in Spanish and English and I'm like backing up all my information. I had all these courses and everything, but that's a good thing because that means they're paying attention, right? Because
Yeah.
There
you
go.
cannot expect to grow without making people uncomfortable.
Of course.
So get ready because I am back.
And the more light you shine, girl, the more people are gonna want to dim your light.
Yeah,
So
but
just
the
keep
good thing
going.
is that we have such a big team in our office, right? Like we have so many people in our office that we can service anybody in the entire country.
Yep.
And I really love the camaraderie of our business because, see, in the real estate world, it's not my best interest to make you the best realtor, because if I give you my secrets, you're gonna become my competition, and then I'm gonna get out of business.
Because most likely, if you're in the same office, you're selling in the same area.
Most likely. But even there, it's not in your best interest. I was somebody's assistant one day. And you heard that quote, you work into become your competition. Like for instance, the person who trained me, I became her competition, which is amazing. But same thing for my agents. I trained so many agents in my career. They're super successful, but they can only work with you for a period of time. And then you don't make any money out of that.
Yep.
And in this
No
case,
overrides.
no overrides. Oh my gosh. If I knew about these overrides, when I heard about the overrides, that you get paid 10 years overrides for protecting a family and having that residual income, I wouldn't have sold Isogenics, Herbalife, like all these stem cells. Like I got into so many multi-levels because I was looking for the overrides,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm just so happy now. I found it all in one piece.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to realtors now, like, that are quote unquote salesy?
Salesy. Well, first of all, you need to add value to your practice. You know, the marketplace is coming and eating us alive.
How do I do that? How do I add value?
You need to offer protection. You need to be in charge of your clients. You need to really get a life insurance license, regardless whether you want to join our team
Really
or not.
care about them.
Really care about them, because you already do. I know you do. You don't get into real estate if you're careless. People really love real estate. Is a tough job, and only with love you can make it through. But my biggest advice is the same thing that Tony Robbins told me: add value to your practice. Learn something. For instance, right now we're learning annuities. So a home seller has all this money. I can help him to create his own pension, which before they'll ask me and I didn't know what to tell them. And I don't know what happened to this money, what happened to these people. Now, just honestly, just learn, get your life insurance license. The worst thing is gonna happen, you're gonna get good protection for your family, you're gonna get a good retirement for yourself as a realtor, or as an entrepreneur, as anybody who's listening to this. That's my biggest advice. Get protected. Because the only way to handle your economy is when you truly become your own bank. And only a universal life insurance can allow you to be your own bank. So,
Yeah, you're
That's
Well,
absolutely right.
whole life can too, but it's just more limitations.
well, whole life is amazing, but I like to drive stick shift, right? So the IUL for me is like you drive a stick shift.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then one thing that I learned, because everybody's like, yeah, the term sucks. It's like renting insurance, the whole blah, blah, blah. No. It's like getting a tailor, right? When you get like a tax, it's what works for you.
Custom.
What works for your goals. Maybe your success is being the best housewife ever. That's fine. Success is very, very, very personal. Not everybody wants the Lambo. Not everybody wants the big mansion.
Yeah.
Not everybody, like, I just want to have time to travel with my girls. I don't want the big material things. I hate cleaning, right? So now with Airbnb.
And it always has to happen too.
But now this is the beauty, right? With Airbnb, you can get like a big mansion rented for the weekend and be done with it and be okay and go back to your little thing.
I think actually I kind of like term. Because I think the turn off about term insurance is that you're kind of betting that you're going to pass in that time frame. But the way I see it is, you're renting something.
Yes.
I like ROP
Well, no.
term.
That's how a lot of people say. But you know what I like better? And I never thought I'd say this? Hybrid.
Yep, I was going to say that.
Term with an IUL. Because if you get term, you can only use your policy once, right? You get term, and then you get an IUL. So if something happens to you, you still have the other insurance for your life. And term is cheaper, right? It's cheaper, but you have, and the good thing is now the living benefits, right? The accelerated benefits. I literally have a client that I forced her to buy life insurance. She got sick, and she was getting something in her fingers. We took care of her, and she was going to cancel. She's like, I called the carrier, and they didn't do. I'm like, no. Let's do it together. Because that's the other problem, right?
That's where
the
it gets
bigger
lost
problem.
in
Yes.
translation.
Gets lost. I'm your agent. You need to call me so I can call them and find out, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't own this company. Just like I don't own the house. If you bought a house and it's full of lead and the inspector didn't find it, it's not my responsibility. But people will blame us for everything. It's okay. In this business, you have to be thick enough to understand, okay, let's say I messed up. Let's fix it now.
You have to. It's also understanding that the homeowners, this is not their world, so they're like gonna seek help, or freak out, fight or flight, kind of, right? Like, who do I blame, or who can help me?
Yeah.
And it's good to have somebody who cares.
Yeah.
To say, hey, how you doing? Like Oscar's a follow-up king. Hey, I sold you a policy a year ago. How's everything? Everything good? You know, things like that.
You know, for me, the biggest thing that works for me is I really like parties. So for me, it was always saying happy birthday to my clients. But then, you know, I was Jehovah's Witness don't celebrate birthdays, so that kind of affected my follow-up. You know, but then I've always liked to celebrate, right?
Yeah.
And to me, celebration is the best thing to. It's not really a follow-up. When you do real estate, you become part of these people's history. Like I have clients right now. They were like 5 years old when I met them, and now they're calling me to buy their first condos. You know, they're writing me letters. You inspire me so much because of these crazy ideas.
It's you.
know,
it's you.
And I love
It's
it.
you.
So
It's not,
you know, I'm very grateful and very happy to do what I do.
So I want to go back to what you were saying about term. I'm gonna show you another perspective that most people don't know.
Before we go there, why don't you explain what's term and what's whole a little bit so your viewers.
So when it comes down to life insurance, there's two kinds of life insurance. There is a term, meaning that is for a period of time, usually is for 10 years to 30 years, right, on average. Then we have permanent policies, which is known as IULs, Index Universal Life, or whole life. Think of it as one is more upgradable, it's newer, and you can do more things, more flexible. So when it comes to term, for example, like the way I always tell my clients is, you want an IUL, perfect. But based on most people, what they want an IUL for is to grow wealth. Yes. They want cash value so they can use that for investments, to buy a property or whatever. But what happens if, God forbid, something happens to you? Yes, you have your cash, but why not get another term? Like me, for example, I have my IUL and then I have my term. Mm-hmm. So my IUL, I'm overfunding that, and meaning that I'm putting most of that is going to cash value. I have very little insurance on it, but I do have another big policy. Yeah. Like a huge policy. So the way I'm looking at it is that, okay, as of right now, I'm funding this policy, is growing cash for me. So when I need it in the next 5-10 years or whatever to do whatever investment, and I can double dip and, all that stuff. But guess what? I'm making more money. My income is growing exponentially. So guess what? Eventually, that $1 million policy that I have as a term, I'm going to convert that into a permanent policy so I can put way more cash in it, use that, and then I just have a lot of tax-free money going around. So most people don't think about it that way. Just, okay, let's say, for example, buy this property, but at the same time, you're using that for an investment, you're renting it to someone else, but maybe you don't have the money to purchase another house right now, so you're renting somewhere else, but that's an investment, making you cash. Whenever you have enough cash, guess what? You're going to buy another property. Yeah. That's the way I look at it. I'm buying my IUL, but I'm renting my term. Something happens to me, I can't work, my family's straight, I can't work, I have that money coming in. Right, and at the same time, in the next 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, boom, I can convert that into an IUL and be able to dump way more money in it. Guess what?
Yeah, and
leverage.
If it doesn't happen, this is protected. But one thing that I look at it is also
it will happen. What you mean?
Yeah, true. So I always sometimes I say, buying an IUL is like buying a house. You're literally buying profits, right? If you cannot afford a house right now because your credit is low, because you don't have but you're saving $50 a month or $100 a month, whatever you are, you can buy real estate in this IUL world.
That is such a good way to look at it. Yeah. Yes, because who can't afford $100 a month? If let's say, okay, you can only rent at like $1,300, but you want a house. Then okay, I have in the budget to put in $200 into this IUL. You're allowing that, and
you're buying compound. Like an IUL, like, let's say for $200,000, but you a really good structured IUL that you're gonna make money on it. That's gonna save you money to buy your house.
That's right. I just sat down with somebody yesterday. Yeah, and they were like, "I know for sure right now is not a good time for me to purchase a house. Exactly. I just don't want to do it right now. I want to wait until whatever, whenever they think it's ready." But he was like, I have all this money in savings and it's not doing anything for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me show you what you can do. He was like, yeah, I want you. And this is funny because he was a friend of mine that I talked to him 4 years ago, and he like argued with me how his 401k is better, right? Now, yeah, it's crazy. And then he told me all these things, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. So anyways, what happened to his 401k, he took cash out because he lost his job, or he switched jobs. He cashed out. Man, I think it was total with taxes and everything, it was about 40% taxes he paid.
Of course.
Christ.
Yeah.
40% because he's not within 15. He's not 59 and a half. He's not right time.
I would hate that because, like, contractors hate paying taxes.
Yeah. So now he's like, heck no. So guess what?
It's like getting robbed. Yeah. Yes. That's
because we are getting robbed unless the IUL is tax free.
Yeah.
Right? It's tax free. And that the thing
He
is
understands
this.
that. Yeah.
That thing is this, right? So for instance, you saving money for your kids, right? If you're not, you be irresponsible. Stop buying clothes. You buy an IUL for a child. You can literally buy an IUL for $50 a month, $40 a month, and got the money grow, and you are ensuring your kids' health because they don't have to go to the doctor. God forbid them they get cancer or whatever when they're older. You maintain the policy. Now they're in the system. Because this one thing we have to make it clear. In IUL, not everybody qualifies for it. You really have to be in an amazing health, and that's your reward for qualifying for an IUL or in life insurance. However, if you don't qualify for that, what do we have? Insurance for your cash, which is an annuity. So that's the beauty about what we do, because
there's options.
Like literally, did you ever thought about insurance for your cash as an annuity? You're looking at me like,
No, the first thing when he talked to me, I was like, yo, my kids, all three of them, what's up? Like, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like a no-brainer. It was like, boom, got it done like within 2 weeks.
Yeah, because it's a no-brainer.
And it's been a week. I mean, I know I should look into their policies more or whatever, but I pay the money, whatever. I don't even look into it or nothing. I just let it,
Yeah.
Like I told him, one of my goals, and my, the goals for the year is like, I want to like overfund their policy.
Yes. And this is the other beauty thing, what I like, right? For instance, it's not like they will inherit the policies unless you put it in a will, but it could be also your retirement. They don't need to take that policy. Yep. They can buy their own later, but you're doing your part to buying these policies when they're young. And also, if you didn't save enough, you have money for your retirement. Like, that's what I'm doing. These policies belong to me because my mother, this is how she raised me. See, everything I have, all these businesses is mine. You're not getting anything. So I was raised with the mindset that I needed to build my own wealth, that I am not expecting them to inherit anything from them. Because literally anything can happen. Look, tsunamis can happen. Like, so many things can happen. So and that's when the entrepreneurship came, because my grandmother, she all made sure that we know how to cook. She said you will never starve if you know how to cook and you can sell.
It's true.
So trust me, if you're not buying a house from me, you're buying a salteña.
Something.
Or salsa lessons.
Because the economy moves sales. Sales is what moves economies.
Obviously, yeah.
It's not the government. It's not the stock market. It's not any of it. It's sales.
Yep.
Right? And we consistently selling ourselves. We just need to choose to sell ourselves higher with more value. I sell myself to my kids every time. Right? I'm trying to sell myself like a good mom. We've been selling to our teachers. We sell to everybody. We are consistently in sales. And it's okay to embrace it. Yeah. I hate it when people say that salesy. I feel great for someone who's salesy, because one day he's gonna learn that even though you're in sales all the time, it's not always the right time or the right environment.
Yep.
But it's just communicating with people and knowing how to communicate with certain people.
So
so I want to ask you a question, and this is for any one of y'all, but mainly for you.
Okay.
Let the viewers know why they should insure their newborn baby or their toddler kid.
Gosh, it's like you said, it's it's a no. Look, well, why? Two reasons, right? One, 4 days later, you can insure them, right? Correct me
No,
if I'm
2
wrong.
weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. So you can get the most amount of coverage overall, like of death benefit at a certain age, right? That's one thing for me. What is the other reason?
Well,
And correct me if I'm wrong, because
I
this is what I
mean,
learned at different agencies.
here's the thing, though. Not necessarily the parent has to have more coverage than the child because the insurance is gonna say, "How come this kid has so much insurance and the parents is not even insured?" So let's say you want to get $1 million policy for your child, you need to have $2 million policy.
Okay,
Okay, so that's
Okay.
always the same. It's always
50%.
yeah, because at the end of the day, the parents are the breadwinners. So life insurance is income protection. So if the parents don't have insurance, why would the child have insurance? That makes no sense to them. So the parents always gonna have insurance, always gonna have at least double what the child has. But at the end of the day, it's like you're setting yourself up for the future for many ways. Let's say, for example, those kids eventually they're either gonna want to go to school or they wanna be like get a degree or they wanna be entrepreneurs. Both of those things cost money.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. They can start saving for the future. And that's compounding interest. Another thing is, God forbid something ever happens to that child is covered. God forbid something happens to that child when they're adults. Guess what? They're covered. A lot of people, we don't think about insurance until shit hits the fan, and we can no longer get
Yeah.
insured.
Yeah. And I think for newborns is the time. The sooner you buy life insurance, the cheaper it is. So if you
Absolutely.
can buy your child as a 2-week born, trust me, you're gonna make
It's
more
gonna be
money
more
overall.
affordable. Yep.
Right? So if you're not insured today, like I always say this, think about this. Think you don't go back home today. What's happening in your house tomorrow?
Yep.
Do they have access to your bank accounts? Do they have access to your passwords? Who is taking care of the kids? Who is picking up the kids? There's so many people here, they don't have anybody. It's just them and the kids. What's your emergency plans? We don't have it. Like with my girls, we have drills. Whatever we do, we have drills. Something happens, you know where to go. They memorize my phone number. They memorize my address. Because that's something we need to do as parents.
Damn, I need to do that with my kids. Now that you said that,
Yeah, we have to.
you just changed the game in my household. I need to get.
And it's so much fun,
Yeah.
You have so much sound in here. You make it sound like a siren, like the fire is going. They need to know what to do. They
Yeah.
need to know where to go. They need to know what to do. And the whole thing, they need to know how to turn off the fire. So you need to teach them how to use the fire extinguisher. These houses are paper houses, they're
Another
not, like,
thing
great.
that I learned
Good
is
points.
that when you have a bank account, you want to make sure you have beneficiaries. Because my mom told me this story, and I was like, I
I
never
didn't
thought
know
about
that.
Because then the bank keeps your money, right?
Bro, so there was this guy in New York from Paraguay, and he passed away, right? Out of nowhere. He passed away, and then his mom came to the U.S. to try to he had about $150,000 in his savings. No, the bank kept the money.
Are you serious?
Serious.
OMG. So go and have beneficiaries today. Like find out. I mean,
But the best thing to be honest is just have wills and trust in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, to override the bank's paperwork
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's what.
that trumps it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do offer that, right? To one of our carriers. We do offer wills.
Yes. Through Foresters, yeah.
Through Foresters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's free.
Yeah. So we are like the
So
Amazon.
by the way, you have that,
of
so you can take care of that. You
Yeah.
can make a will.
Foresters,
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is like in Virginia, for instance, if you have full custody of your kids, legal and physical, and you don't have a will, what's happened to your kids? They go to the state.
That's crazy.
They will not go to anybody if you don't have a will for that. So it's super important to get that on.
I guess I'm gonna be doing a will very soon.
Yeah, I don't.
before Easter. No, like honestly, right? Because
Yeah.
things can happen and change. So I'm just like every day, honestly. I go to my girls like they're breathing. I'm like, oh my God, thank you, God, thank you, Lord. I get to breathe, because one of the biggest thing is that I didn't share, totally forgot, is when I came back from Bolivia with COVID, I didn't want to get the shots, right? And I got the shot because I couldn't get into my daughter's school to talk to the teachers. You had to be vaccinated. So I got the shots.
In Bolivia?
I thought you were shaking
here.
your head. Like, I
No,
was like, yeah,
here,
me too, man.
here.
Yeah, I was.
Here in the U.S.,
I'm like-
I was like,
right?
No.
So you
You
couldn't
felt
go
like,
talk to the
bye, she
teacher?
won't be going to that school
you have to be
anymore.
vaccinated.
No.
What school is this?
This is, I don't want to say it because, but it's in the school where I live. So because the parents are not vaccinated, you couldn't get into the schools.
That is so messed up.
Here
Human
in the
rights
US.
violation.
That's
But let's
wild.
do this.
Because
so
you know,
I got
don't get me
I
started.
got the vaccine. And then we need to go to my sister's house, and my sister, she goes, "Can you guys please get a COVID test before you come?" But, it was COVID going on. We went to the hospital, and all of a sudden, my body just starts like going crazy. So I got a partial heart attack, a partial stroke, and my legs would not move for like 5 minutes.
That's crazy.
And this is happening with my daughters.
And this is after you got the shot?
after I got the shot.
It's because your body doesn't.
My
agree
body,
with it.
I don't know what was happening, but the thing is, like, I'm here at the hospital now, and I'm seeing my two girls, and I can't find nobody to come for them. And I really thought I was gonna die. I really thought I was gonna die, and I said, God loves me so much. The last thing I want to see is my girls. And I'm looking into their eyes, and I'm like thinking I'm gonna die. When they finally came for them, just that moment when I went to sleep with the medication came, that moment that I said, you know what? Thank God I have life insurance. Thank God I have a will. Thank God I have this. I was responsible. I was like, Lord, Daddy, take me. And when I woke up, that's when everything changed for me. That's when my purpose, my life, I said, I can't live this life putting people in debt and not doing what I need to do. So that's when everything just feels, and that's why I'm so grateful. I live more passionately. I became healthier. I work out. I do. It's because my love of life. So that changed my life.
Your fear
Damn, that's
of
deep.
dying too made it like, oh,
Of
no.
course, you know, when you are there and at the hospital and you see these lights and the medication is kicking in, and I see my girls and I'm really thinking I'm gonna die because you have all these things what's happening. And then when I woke up, I said, so what happened to my body? So the explanation was because you know how you bring to your body the things that you fear the most.
Mm-hmm.
And during COVID, everybody's bombarding ourselves, and the side effects, everything that I can think of, my body went through. But clinically, I did not have nothing.
Oh, so it was just
So
brain.
it was just real literally like
It was
clinically,
like an anxiety attack.
maybe, but I have never been the same since that shot, for sure.
Yeah.
I have never been the same.
Thank
Even my
God I never
heart.
got it. Ha ha.
See? Oh my gosh. I regret. Well,
Sorry.
I don't regret getting it anymore because if it wasn't for that episode, I don't think I could have found my purpose.
Yes. Everything happens for a reason.
And really appreciate more everything. And I even appreciate more like the good stuff and the bad stuff because I was given a second chance at life. I would never know.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I knew I was going to die. And that peace of mind, that's what I want to transmit. That's what I want to empower, give people that because at that moment, if I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I have all the details, I have all the paperwork. I even wrote a letter to my family how I want my last party to be. I don't call it funeral, okay? I told them, I said, listen, I want everybody dressed
You a
in
party
yellow
animal,
and
man.
white. I want
Yo, she
this
like
Bolivians,
party.
bro. They love to party.
I left instructions, and some of my family were upset. I said, this is what I want. I don't want to be. Don't take me in the cemetery. I want my ashes to be stones for my girls because you can make diamonds now with ashes.
That's crazy.
So I
Oh,
have it all
gotta do
figured
that
out.
with my dog.
And I always promote like, what's your last party? Like, how you want people to remember you, right? Leave that organized. We do baby showers, we do divorce parties, we do weddings, we do all these things, but we don't do anything for our last party. So my last party is all set, and I know it's gonna come one day, and I'm no longer afraid of dying, which I used to be so afraid of dying. I never thought I would do life insurance.
Yeah.
I could never talk about death,
Yeah.
and now it's part of our. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that makes you just live longer when you hear all these stories, you know. So
Yeah.
So
It's
thank
true.
you so much for coming. Our time is up.
thank you.
We can keep going and going and going. And thank you so much for
Thank
No,
you.
joining our
Thank you so
podcast.
much. I
Thank
love
you.
Yeah,
your
this
story.
is good. This is one of the best podcasts yet.
Oh,
Great, great, great story.
honestly, I wasn't prepared. I'm really happy that I get to, vent. I start in the second quarter of the month, and I really appreciate it. This is going to be even for my girls. So thank you guys for inviting
Yeah.
me.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
coming.
You're welcome.
You're always welcome back.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yay.
absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in today. Sorry I was late. Just wanna, I'm gonna say that
He owes
In
us
air.
dinner.
on
Yeah,
air.
oh yeah, he owes me dinner.
And yeah, guys. So man, these are the stories that I love to hear because, I'm an immigrant myself. I came to this country. My mom struggled so much, and hearing things like this, it's just I love this, and it makes me very passionate about what I do to protect families. And yeah, share this with your friends. Share it with whoever. If you like this, please hit like, subscribe, comment, and
Get insurance.
shameless plug.
Any last word?
No, pretty much. Get insurance. You can contact any of us for that.
Yes. Yeah. And I always like to say, I'll see you at success or I'll see you from success. It's all of
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Mic drop. Now you gotta go